Okay, so I think we finished up a week, 2 weeks, now that they get released at about, let's see, there's some over there by my greenhouse. They split off into their own little groups. The bar dogs are usually together, but they're not today. They're just wandering around the yard. I think this is my favorite part of owning chickens. Hey, Goldie. She's my sweet girl. Ironically, the craziest ones that started out, there's Bingo. Everybody has a name, sort of, except she's the pretty one with no name so far, and the babies. They don't have names, but everybody else kind of does. This is Goldie and Thing 1, and doesn't have a name. But anyway, this is week 2 of them. They get released at about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then they generally rush under the house right there. And they'll hang out. There's Bluey, a little blue Orpington. They have a little spot over there that they take their dirt baths in the morning. And then they'll wander and eat the grass in the bottom of my things. That is still my toe, baby girl. This is probably my favorite part of owning chickens, though, is that, like, she's super sweet. And the other ones are kind of coming around. Like, they'll let me pick them up. And they'll let me pet them. And that's just so nice. Like, the Wyandottes are still not quite friendly yet. And that's okay. There's one over there, and then there's this one. And there's Gimpy doing well. Her and the biggest Easter egger we have is named Bertha now. Big Bertha. But they kind of wander around you. And it's kind of nice, because when we have guests, they run away. And I'm like, yeah, I'm their person. I've always loved birds, and this is like the best of both worlds, because I have birds, but also they're useful. Don't scratch me, you turd. Come on, shoot. I guess Goldie's my sweet girl. She lets me pick her up. Boop, boop, boop. She chats at me. Hey, sweetie. Goldie. She's a good girl. You're my good girl. She's very patient. This is my red Sussex, the golden Sussex, or golden Sussex. No, it's red, because it's Rhode Island red and a Sussex mix. She's a good girl. All right, watch out, baby. But yep, and there's Bingo. And they get under their coop. Basically, it's just really rewarding to watch the chickens. I know that eventually I'm going to have to slaughter them for food, to harvest them. But that's several years away for most of them. Most of them will be very happy egg layers. You're supposed to be, there's Bertha. You're supposed to be a good steward of the things that God has given us. And I hope to do that. We try to keep them happy. We try to keep them healthy. We have raccoons. We saw some big-ass raccoons. They come from the back over there. And they look like medium-sized dogs, man. Came in the yard at night. So we definitely lock everything up at night. We've had a few hawks, but since I have children and the children are outside a lot of the time, it keeps most of the predators away. We haven't had any issues with chicken injuries yet. Haven't had any issues with really anything. I mean, they poop on a lot of things, but that's just livestock, so let it sit where it falls. That's my other favorite one. That one was injured, and the husband has named it Backland because it had a back injury. Doing very well. Very happy bird. Right now, since she's in there, I still think it's a dude. Well, maybe it's a girl. Hey, pretty baby. Hey, pretty baby. They have like really cute, like fluffy heads, and then fuzzy, hey baby, little fuzzes on their faces. So I wonder if they're not like part Polish. I don't know. When you get them from, I guess, Tractor Supply, you kind of get ragamuffin breeds, which is fine. Eventually I'll treat myself to like the ornamental breeds, but right now I just want a bunch of good laying girls. We eat a butt ton of eggs. Opened up everything because it's been 100 degrees or so the last week and a half or so ish, and we just got a cold front. There they are, they're eating. Well, we got a cold front in, so the next few days are going to be like 60s and 70s. Hey, pretty baby. That's Shooby-Doo-Wah. So named by the sun. But yeah. So we're going to open all this up and keep it from being super nasty and humid and funky. It's supposed to get cold. like the 50s, so that'll be fun. But maybe we'll have our burn pan will lift, so we'll get rid of this. The chickens love it. Unfortunately, I found a snake in that one. We had a yellow belly racer in the yard that was pretty freaking big, dude. Which, unfortunately, got because you can't be, you know, a 3-foot, 4-foot snake in my yard when I've got little chickens, because I don't think they're teenagers yet even. They're getting their tails. Bluey and all the babies are finally feathered out. They've still got some patches where they're kind of ugly. Like, it's not trypophobia, but it's like when their feathers first come out and it's just that, like, stick, because it's not fluffed out or anything. Oh, it's disgusting to me. Like I said, I know that's just weird. Hey, baby. They're so pretty. It's so nice watching them. Hey, baby girl. I haven't figured out what all their clucks and noises are, but I know that Goldie will nag at. Here she comes. I know Goldie nags at me and talks to me. She does that kind of sound, so I wonder if that's them chatting. I don't know if that's them nagging at you or chatting at you. So they've started talking. Like I said, that's a baby. So she's fully feathered out, and the other 2 Wyandottes are. Bluey's mostly feathered out. I don't know. It's just super fun to watch. As you can see over here, I finally laid stuff out to kill the grass because it's finally not 100 degrees and it's not like, you know, sweating like a sinner in church. Set those out. I need to get a weeder, but we've patched up several parts of the fence because this fence is doo-doo butter. So this is where the garden's going to be here shortly. Over the next couple days it's going to rain. Makes the ground softer. Most of our is nasty, dirty red clay, which is really hard to grow things in, but I don't know. I guess I'm going to start amending the soil. I need to weed this. I just weeded the front garden. These poor little trees. This is I think it's an eastern redbud. I keep forgetting because I know that one is the same as that one. You can't see it. I'm bad at the camera. That one's the same as that one. It alternated. So this is something that's not those. I have a hawthorn and redbuds. Yeah, so this is where my garden's going to be. Eventually that's going to bite me in the ass because those are going to be shady, but this is where my hose reaches, so here we are. I think I'm going to get the paint for the coop here shortly. My grandfather, who helped build it for me, I asked him, hey, could you help me 3D this? Because I'm an artist. I'm not an engineer. And he was like, yeah. And then he starts building it. I'm like, oh, cool. Gonna paint it red after. He's like, well, because it was between like yellow, which husbando hates, blue, which is an okay color, like pale blue, not like, you know, stark blue. But that didn't go very well with Granddad. He was like, no, paint it red. Republican all the way. And I was like, okay, I guess. Still haven't figured out what this little tree is. As you can see, they're kind of wilting. It's been really stinking hot with like 60 to 80% humidity most days. So like in the greenhouse, I'll show you in a minute. My trees are just like wilting. My plants are wilting. We had a hummingbird feeder. Well, we have it. It's right there in front of you, obviously. But it was full of sugar water, you know, the old-timey recipe that's good to go. And we had a couple things out here. Mostly wasps, which, I mean, aren't cool. Angry freaking balls of fire, basically. But they're pollinators, so leave them be when you can. They keep trying to set up shop on our front porch, which is a no-no, but elsewhere in the yard, it's fine. The kids just stay away from it. We had one in the front yard, but carpenter ants have overtaken like most of our front yard. Oh, they're sunbathing. That's so funny to me. But yeah, I watered everything, but here's my melons. Most of them are having a hard time, as you can see, like they're brittle and not having a great time. It's been so humid. This is a lavender bush, which you can see, like, I don't know what that is. It's like rot or something, which is pretty gross. The chickens come in here and they'll lay in here during the heat, like the hot part of the day, because for some reason the greenhouse isn't as hot as it is out in the sun. I guess because it's vaguely shaded. I've got my Napa cabbages coming up because I'm planning on making kimchi. Fun fact, I grew up all over the world, and some of my most, ew, that's yellow and gross. Some of my most, I guess, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, some of my most important childhood years where you're forming were spent in South Korea. So I fucking love kimchi. I know how to make it. But as you can see, like my corns are doing good, but everything's struggled with the humidity lately. I'm not totally sure what this is. It blew in and it pollinated and stuck there. I don't know what the hell. But these are my okras, my potatoes, my lettuce, cabbage, I think lettuce of some kind. No, wait, hold on. Broccoli, that's what those are. Sage, parsley. I take some of these off and I put them in the, like I'll pick off the leaves that don't look as good as the other ones. Like, I don't know. I'll just trim it from the bottom, I guess. Oh, that one's fine. But I take these off and I go give them to the chickens. Just parsley and a sage. Why not? Like I said, I don't totally know if this helps them. I know they can eat it. I don't know that they do. It seems like they do. But I'll take these off and just go put it in their little nesting boxes or whatever so that they have a snack later in the day. Hey, pretty girl, are you complaining? Yeah. As you can see, mostly they roost. Sometimes they touch it, sometimes they don't. The leaves, as you can see, there's still a little bit of leafage. Opened these up just to get, like I said, air circulation. I'm trying a deep litter method in here. So you only clean it, like, deep clean it like once a year because it's like calculated laziness, which I'm all about. I need to clean these out though because, like I said, this is one of their favorite perching spots for nighttime. And they'll just sit there and crap everywhere. Because, I mean, chickens are gross. They're wild. They're wild. Just, I've already added one more layer. Because for the first week, we just kind of left them in here. And made sure that they knew this was home base. This is their water. That's their food. I mix, let's see, I think it's the medicated feed with a little bit of chick grit and a little bit of diatomaceous earth. Just to help keep down any kind of worms. I don't know that they have them, but I'm preemptive. I also put a diatomaceous earth layer and then some, this is just pine shavings, and then a diatomaceous earth layer and then one more thing of pine shavings. Because like I said, for the first week, they were just kind of stuck in here. So that's when I added the second layer, even though you're only supposed to do that periodically. I did that rather immediately. This is our box of stuff that I still haven't cleaned up because my mother-in-law wants to get a couple chickens here. Who knows? She says she wants to. Who knows when that'll happen? But I don't have room for it. You keep it. Ugh, I'm not your storage shed. But yeah, so that's our compost pile once again. We're gonna plan on putting all the burn stuff in there. That's where our food leavings that are not meat, because don't put meat or oil. Everything else. Oh, there's a pretty girl. So funny to watch them. But yeah, so there's chicken update. Like, not a whole lot's going on. They finally feathered out. Some of them are starting to look like actual chickens. Their tails are like the leghorns. Their tails are kind of finally poking up like little leghorns. We got like ragamuffin breed. She's technically an Easter egger, but like she's mixed with a few things. Because she almost has like a silver lace pattern on her neck, and then her cheeks are all puffy. So I think she's maybe part Polish or something. You know, once upon a time she had Polish in there. This is another favored hangout spot, grooming spot, whatever. Hey, babies. That's my silver lace in the front. She's super freaking pretty. This was our patio. Now it's just like a chicken spot, you know. But that's one of their napping spots. They take naps in the middle of the day and they groom themselves, which is super cute. This is another favored spot. As you can see, most of them are under there. We've had to fill in that area as well, just because they get out and then they're like, oh crap, I'm out. What do I do? And it's like, you dumb, get in. I don't know how. We've had to do that a couple times. But yeah, so here's backyard chickens. They're easy. Like, you know, people are worried about starting with them, but don't be worried, because I mean, the first couple of weeks when they're itty bitty and can die from pasty butt, that's when it's worrying, I guess. But these are easy babies. Hey, pretty girl. They're napping. Because I think they're still babies. They're not even teenage chickens yet. I think teenager starts at like, 18 weeks or something ridiculous like that, where they actually shoot up again. But yeah, so if you're scared about chickens, don't be. We got a lot because we have a big family, because we also plan on sharing eggs, and we plan on harvesting some of our chickens. If you're just looking for like a couple, like, you don't eat a hellacious amount of eggs, then just get a couple hens, like 2 or 3 maybe. Just for your personal use. You don't have to go crazy with coops. You see stuff on Instagram and you're like, oh, well, I'd like that. Well, don't. Instagram isn't like real life. Those people, there's a stereotype of Instagram model for a reason. If that's what you're waiting for, you're never going to get started. Obviously, my house and my place is a mess, and that's okay. We started it anyway. Husbando was nervous. I was less nervous, wanted to do this. I've always loved birds, and chickens just seem like the best of both worlds. Hey, baby girls. But yeah, so if you're worried about chickens, don't be. They are super easy. You just buy them food when they need it, which if you only have a couple chickens, won't be often. You got them, give them a little place to run around. If you've only got a couple hens, then you don't even need to let them in your whole backyard. You can just keep them kind of caged, which, oh no, that's cruel. Yeah, well, you don't want them eaten, so. I've already told all the wild critters, it's like, if you eat my chickens, I gotta eat you. And raccoon tastes fucking awful, so don't eat my chickens. I'll be mad. But yeah, so, like I was saying, if you're in the mood, sorry, everybody's in the shed now, jamming and messing around. But if you're in the mood for chickens and eggs, it's not going to save you money in the long run, but it's good for your heart. It's good for your soul to watch things growing, to be a good steward. It's done a lot for us already. Not to say that we were unhappy, but it's just you find a piece of yourself that you didn't know was gone, and then it's whole again. Like, this is how humans were meant to be. This is how we were meant to live. Gross, Goldie, pooping on camera. But yeah, chickens are great. I love this so far. This is what, week 8 or 9, something ridiculous like that. This has been a very good very good choice so far. Like I said, love it. If you're thinking of it, hey, don't eat poop. Bingo. If you're thinking about it, do it. It's not hard. You don't need a lot of land. You don't need many chickens either. If you want a garden, you don't need greenhouses. You don't need a big ass backyard to put your stuff in. You can do it from your, apartment back porch. Just get like a container garden. Start with a tomato plant and a melon plant or whatever the hell you eat. Don't garden with like crazy hard things. Don't start with that. Start with things you know you'll eat. Things you know you want to eat. And just don't worry. Don't stress. These are things that are good. Like Bob Ross said about painting, every day that you can do this kind of thing is a good day. It's not good vibes only. You get bad days. It's not always easy. Sometimes you don't want to wake up at the ass crack of dawn to chase chickens, or you don't want to be out late chasing chickens inside, or, weeding, or closing up your greenhouses because there's 20-mile-an-hour gust winds coming and you only just found out, or whatever the case. It's a good day. Every day is a good day on God's green earth. If you're thinking of doing this, do it. Stop waiting. I waited way too long. I should have been doing this 10 years ago. But yeah, life is good. There's my update.